that which they do not know. That means here the Quran is establishing that there are some creatures, maybe micro creatures, that are also created in pairs that the human being doesn't know about. And a sign for them is the night that we extract from the light of the day. Now this is the phenomena itself that we have now discovered from going outer space. When we go out in space, we realize that the day is extracted from the night, not the night from the day. We realize that night is first and day is second, although we say day-night. We realize now that time is really inverted, but you have to go out in space to be able to see it. That's why in Australia, we are sitting here at 9:30 in the evening, isn't it? In London, it is now 10:30 in the morning, but yesterday. And in America, it's 5:30 in the morning, yesterday. But we just discovered that dimension of time recently, didn't we? We didn't know that before, but the Quran establishes that, because listen to this. And the sun runs its own course towards its stopping point, and that is the determination of the exalted in might, the knowing. And the moon, we have determined for it phases until it returns, appearing like a date stalk. Now think about it. Here the Quran has established that the sun runs its course along with its other bodies which carries it. What bodies does the sun carry with it? It's 9 planets, is that correct? Based upon the movement of the sun and the planets around it, we establish what? Time, isn't it? And based upon the movement of the moon around the earth, we establish what? Another set of time. Now, how did the Quran establish this 1,424 years ago, while the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, he didn't have any telescope? He didn't know that. He could only have known that through the aid and the assistance of revelation or inspiration from the one who created. The Quran says it is not allowed, listen to this, لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وفي فلك يسبحون وكل في فلك يسبحون. It is not allowed for the sun to reach the moon, that is to outstrip it, nor is it allowed for the night to overtake the day, but each one of them swims along in its own law and orbit. When was that established? How long was it that Copernicus gave us a theory that man was in the center of the universe? Did you remember that? That man was the center of the universe. We know now that man is not the center of the universe at all. Well, 1,424 years ago, the Quran established that the sun cannot outstrip the moon and the night cannot outstrip the day, but each one of them are engaged in a predetermined law and orbit. This is the Quran. Dear brothers and sisters, all of this is to establish in your minds, all of this dialogue, all of this evidence, all of this proof is to clearly establish in everybody's mind here that you and I, nor all of us together, nor all the human beings in other places throughout the earth, none of us individually, endowed or unendowed, intelligent or unintelligent, educated or otherwise, rich or poor, black or white, male or female, none of us are benefactors. Who's the benefactor? Who's the benefactor? God, the Almighty, the Creator, your Lord, my Lord. This was established by those prophets and messengers, those extraordinary human beings that I spoke about a few moments ago. That was already established. I didn't need to come here and establish that. I just need to come here and remind you of that. Now, those extraordinary human beings were the ones that came to tell other human beings who thought at that time that they were somewhat sophisticated. Isn't that, this is unique about humans. At every age, even 5,000 years ago, they thought they were modern. At every age, human beings, no matter what stage of development they are at, they think that they are modern and more sophisticated than others. This is the nature of human beings. Yet all of them don't seem to ponder on the fact that they're only here for a moment. And some of them, during the moment that they're here, they become so arrogant. They begin to say that we are the owners, we are the peacekeepers, we are the organizers, we are the administrators, we are the ones who created ourselves, determine for ourselves, legislate for ourselves and others, and we own everything and we determine everything. Isn't there some people that say that? You're either with us or against. And don't give man a few tools that he can use, a few things that he can throw or some missiles that he can shoot. He really becomes arrogant then. Well, you know, when Moses, when he went to Pharaoh, Abraham, when he went to Pharaoh, peace and blessing be upon him. When Abraham went to Pharaoh and talked to Pharaoh, Pharaoh told Abraham, "Why should I worship your God? Why? I have command over life and death. Anybody I want to die will die. Anybody I want to live will live." What did Abraham say to Pharaoh? What did he say to him? If you really got some power, the one that you killed, bring him back to life. The one you killed, bring him back to life if you got power. And if you got some power, when the sun sets in the west, you cause it to rise and make it set in the east. Was Pharaoh able to do that? He wasn't able to do that then, and the pharaohs today can't do it today. Because throughout the span of man's interaction with man, there has always been the confrontation between the arrogant, the worldly, the boastful, those who feel that they are the owners, the administrators, the materialists. There's always been that confrontation between the materialists and the faithful. The prophets of God, whom I mentioned some of their names, they were always the godly, the faithful. The people having faith and belief, knowing that this world and all its tangible resources are the result of whose command? God. Those people who are godless, mindless, heedless, arrogant, rebellious, wanting to own everything, wanting to expand from their place throughout the world and even control everything in the world and even want to control outer space. And look how God sends signs and that man doesn't seem to want to heed it. Did you know that the space exploration project that the USSR, or they don't call it that anymore, it's called now the Soviet Union, or the Soviet states, they got it now. They changed the name, didn't they? Changed the currency. I think they're in bed with the capitalists now, aren't they? Anyway, the Russian, or they call themselves Russians now, right? So the Russian American space exploration project that has now expanded itself to include the state of Israel. Well, that's wonderful. That's a nice addition. Well, they had a very ambitious space exploration project that included building, what do they call that you look up in the sky and see it at night? Yeah, the space station.